So those are the Friday games, and Marcus, before we move ahead, out of like those three games we talked about, which is St. Thomas More, LCA, St. Charles Catholic Dunham, and Ruston and Destrehan. I feel like out of the 3 days, I think that's going to be the most action-packed day of the three. What do you
Yeah,
think about those three games on Friday?
it got a lot of good football teams playing right there. You got 3 games that's going to be packed full of big time players and big time teams that's been in these positions, teams that's like you said earlier, like about Destrehan that's been fighting to get here the last couple of years. So you're gonna see a lot of guys giving it all. Um, Again, knowing that this is what they prepare for all year long to be in this game and having this opportunity and to be on this stage. I definitely think we're gonna see a lot of great football being played. Everybody gonna bring all their stops out, everything they've been practicing all year long, probably since week one, and haven't shown yet in no games. They're going to be coming out because I think all coaches are going to be emptying the playbook. They're going to be coming out with everything. So we're going to see a lot of creative things, I think, and then we're going to see a lot of guys, come out there and just show a lot of passion, be able to play, and a lot of guys that, like you say, been in this position. I want to see some guys that that's been waiting to get in these positions, like you say, and be able to be on that carpet in that dome in that last game, being able to coach on that stage, and man, it's gonna be great, man. It's gonna be great to see.
Yeah, it really is. And I tell you what, Saturday's games are pretty good too. It's not just Friday. And the last day of football, high school football, is Saturday, and it will kick off with the Division II non-select state championship game, and that will feature. This was really a bracket we talked about at the very beginning when we were talking about the first, second round, the first time with us, and that this was going to be a bracket that was going to be up for grabs. It wasn't. There was like no heavy favorite entering that bracket. And right now, surprisingly enough, I'm really shocked myself. But I picked the two teams that projected or in the dome. That kind of surprised me. But North DeSoto is one of them, and they're having a really good season at 12-1. Dennis Dunn, he had a lot of success at Evangel Christian.
Yeah,
And he's a quarterback guru himself, like you are, and worked with a lot of really good quarterbacks. And some of them were actually, I believe, Josh was Josh with you at early on at LSU? Was
yeah,
that
yeah. 1 year with me, 1 year.
1 year? Yep, yep. So he worked obviously with him, and and all the booties and all those guys. And this is North DeSoto's first appearance in the Superdome. This is the first time they ever
Okay.
played in this environment.
Shout out Coach Dunn over there coming there bringing that
Yep.
that
Yeah, he
championship
had,
pedigree over there.
yeah, yeah, he
Yeah.
has. Yep, and watch out, Marcus. They got a pretty good quarterback coming up. He's only a freshman
Come on,
playing on the stage, and
come
his
on.
name is Luke Delafield. So that's a name that we're going to get to know in the next couple years. To be a freshman and lead your team to the dome. That's I don't
It's
care who
big.
you are. That's very impressive.
Yep, it's big.
Yep, and then their defense has been really good too. They've been pretty dominant defensively. In the playoffs, they defeated Cecilia 33-14, a really good Cecilia football team. Defeated Brobridge 42-13, and defeated
That's
Iowa 38-9 in that semifinal game to get them to the dome. But we're going to talk about Lutcher, and this is a team that they're more used to being in a spot, with the games that they've been playing in the state championship games. Coach Atelier and Coach Jenkins, and even go back really early back to Coach Frank Monica. This is a team that's always been right there in the Superdome. And this is a quarterback that you're very familiar with, and Dwayne Winfield. And I mean, his
yep.
stats, the numbers he's been putting up, it's been crazy throughout this run. They defeated West Feliciana 35-21 in the semis, and they've had a really good playoff run with West Feliciana, of course. But they defeated Lakeshore 45-8, St. Martinville 49-33, and Wassman 42-12. So they've scored over 35 points in every single game. In Winfield last week, Marcus, talk about a threat running the football. He ran
Right.
for 335 yards and 5 touchdowns. He scored all 5 touchdowns running the ball. He is a
Crazy.
dual threat. I mean, 2,300 yards rushing, 37 touchdown runs as a quarterback, but he
Right.
also he's thrown for nearly 2,000 yards, 29 touchdowns, and he hasn't turned the ball over, only 4 interceptions. So it's not like he's just this running quarterback. He can beat you with both his arm and his legs, and you get a chance to work with him a whole lot. What are your impressions of him?
Man, I think he's a great dual threat quarterback. Like you say, he can do it with his legs, he can do it with his arms. He does whatever it takes for his teams to be able to be successful offensively, scoring points and putting up a lot of yards, as you can see. And and man, I just think that Lutcher's going to take this one. I think they're used to it. They've been there. They got a guy like Lunch Whitfield back there that's at the hams and a coach too, and Coach Jenkins that's has been here that's done it. Still, a shout out to Coach Dunn over there for what he's done and what he's doing with the program over there. But I'm going Lutcher on this one. I think it's gonna be big right here.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I tell you what, North DeSoto better bring their lunchbox because lunch is going to be hungry. To win the
Yes,
state
indeed.
championship. He really is. And I agree with you. I'm going to go with Lutcher. This was a team I picked to win the whole thing in this bracket. So I'm going to go with the Bulldogs. And I think in these type of games, I think the best players emerge. And I think
Right.
that this whole playoff run, he's pretty much been the best player on the field every single game. And he's going to carry this team to a state championship. And I truly believe that. Dwayne Jenkins been around some really good quarterbacks, but I think he even told me I don't remember a quarterback I've been around with that has carried a football team as much as he has. And I think all that hard work is going to pay dividends at the end. I think Lutcher's going to win this football game. Win the
Yes,
state
indeed.
championship.
Yeah.
All right, and then 2 more games, Marcus, we're done, wrapping it up. And as far as recruits, and because everybody's going to pay attention, okay, which recruits we should pay attention to and talk about. As far as a recruit matchup, I don't think anything beats Trey Holly against Tackett Curtis going against each other in this one. And that's Manny and Union Parish in the non-select Division III state championship game. This is a 4th straight year Manny and Jess Curtis have been in this game and played in this football game. And every single time at the year after they lose, they come back and win. And right now they lost last year to Amy, which all the signs are pointing towards them completing the undefeated season. They're undefeated right now. They defeated Richwood 21-0 in the playoffs, defeated Rose Pond. Rose Pond gave them a pretty good Andy's team in the fighting Andy
Right.
14-7. They made it close against Manny, but then they move on to the next round, defeated St. James 32-13. Everybody knows about Tackett Curtis and USC commit. And
Right.
their defense is like you expect when you have a guy like Tackett Curtis leading the way. They've given up 89 points all season long, including 4 shutouts. But, man, get your popcorn ready for this one, Marcus, because Tackett Curtis is going to go up against Trey Holly, the future LSU Tigers. Really like a mini version of the LSU Tigers versus the USC Trojans in this
The
one.
USC Trojans.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Trey Holly, the all-time leading rusher in the state, has over 2,000 yards and 28 touchdowns this year. They defeated Amy 28-8 in the semifinals. That's the team that beat Manny in the state championship last year. They also beat Patterson 38-14, beat Sterlington. That was the team that beat Union Parish in the state championship last year, 34-14. So Union Parish, it seemed like both these two teams are on a revenge type of tour because both these two teams lost in this game in the same stadium last year. And unfortunately, it's going to happen to one of these two teams on Saturday. Who do you think is going to get it done? Do you think it's going to be Trey Holly and Union Parish, or is it going to be Tackett Curtis and Manny?
I'm going Union Parish on this one.
Okay.
Going Union Parish on this one. I think they got like you said, I think they're coming in with a whole bunch of star power. And when you got the star power in the building, the guys, they rise to the occasion. And I think the guy that has set the record, the all-time record, for rushing, man, I think that he's going to show out.
And 56% of the vote leans towards your way, Marcus. But I'm gonna be with the 44%. I'm gonna go with Manny. I think it's just
You're
one.
gonna go Manny.
Yep,
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Manny,
Hey,
but it can
it's
go
gonna be a good one
either way.
though.
Yep. I mean, it's pretty much going to come down to what side is going to be more efficient in this game. Is it going to be Union Parish? If Union Parish can't run the football on Manny, then Manny's going to win this football game. But at the same time, if Union Parish has success against Manny running the ball, then it's going to be a long game for Manny. So
Right.
I really trust Hack and Curtis and this defense one more time against Union Parish and just do enough offensively. I agree that it's going to be a low scoring game either way. I mean,
Right.
because I think it's going to be one of those games where Trey Holly, if Union Parish wins, it's going to be like a 17-14, 20-14 type of game. And I think it's going to be the same way the other way around. But this is going to be an old fashioned physical football game with both these two teams. And talk about smash mouth football. If you're like an old school type of football
Yeah, I believe it's gonna
player,
be.
that's your game.
And that's what's gonna bring the low scoring because it's gonna be a lot of running. I think the clock gonna stay running the whole time. And,
Yeah.
I think, like you said, it's gonna be old school. Ben and whoever breaks at the end, that's who it's gonna be. But I think Union Parish gonna come away with it.
Yeah, you gotta lean with your LSU Tiger too. You gotta lean with
I got you. I got
knowledge,
you.
you know.
I ain't want to add all that in, but yeah, I got it with it. But and the state lead rusher. Last time we had that was when we got Nick Brosette.
Yep. Yep. And that worked out pretty good. He got eventually a state championship too, a couple state championships.
Yep.
Nick Brissett. So, yeah, it should be a fun one. And I'm looking forward to seeing that one for sure. And then the finale, Coach. This is a finale. This is your bracket. So, talking about your expertise. I don't think you have to listen to me ramble on about these two teams because you're familiar with them, but especially Brother Martin. And y'all played Brother Martin in the first round, and we even talked about that. Whoever comes out with that matchup with y'all, I mean, the road was pretty good. Whoever came out with that first round matchup, it was just a tough draw for really both teams. And right now, as we talked about, Brother Martin is right now in the dome from that first tough first round matchup against y'all. What made them just so efficient? And after that game, did it really surprise you that Brother Martin would make this run after eliminating y'all from the playoffs?
Well, no, I wasn't surprised. Just like you just said, I thought that whoever won our game had a pretty good chance of making it to the dome. That's why I liked our draw, I liked our chances going into that game. And then I also just seen the things that when we played Brother Martin, other than Carr a little bit, they hadn't seen a team kind of like us. So I think in seeing us, that would have given them everything that they needed at that point because they play in a tough district already. They already know how to stop the run and they already know how to run the football. And a lot of their scores were low scoring all season long. So I knew that after having that and having that game, they were going to be able to go and be where they are. Now on the other side, that thing went a whole lot different than what I thought. Actually, just dating back to those semifinal games, Calic High playing John Curtis, but we go back even to the quarterfinal with Calic High and Carr. It just, that bracket on that side could have went anyway, and everybody I think probably leaned toward Carr or probably leaned toward whoever won the Carr Calic High game to be in the state championship game. But John Curtis coming through with skill, he playing with skill. He didn't been here before. I don't think nobody gave him a chance to be here in the state championship game, but they have persevered. They beat a real good Cali High team last week, and here they go. So I think it's going to be a great one.
Yeah, I really think so too. And I mean, just looking at that game, it seemed like everybody was kind of penciling in and the Carr Catholic to play in that game. And like John Curtis was kind of sitting in the back corner saying, hey,
right. Hey,
forget about us,
Y'all do know we over here, right?
Yeah.
Y'all do know who we are, right?
Right. I mean, we've won 27 of these things.
Right. Somebody.
So, I mean, it was one of those games, maybe a little bit of a I'm getting excuses for Catholic, but maybe a little bit of a hangover from that and the Carr game because with that game being mentioned about the winner of this game is going to win the state championship, maybe it was a little bit of a hangover, and you can't afford that when you're playing against probably the GOAT, and JT Curtis and John Curtis, and they took advantage of Catholic's mistakes, and they earned their way to playing this football game.
Yeah, man, and I'm excited for Coach JT, man. Like you say, he's sitting over there proud of it. Like, come on, man. And he probably was using that as bait, giving it to his guys. Like, man, we know that we done been here. Let's stay the course. And that's what they did. And they landed themselves in a championship game with a chance to bring home another state championship over there to that, add to that shrine that they have already over there.
Yeah, it's going to be a really good football game, and you know a whole lot about Tory Lambert, their running back at Brother Martin. He's a Texas State commit, but he's kind of had this run. Like we talk about Lunch, when we talk about Trey Hollow, when we talk about Jackson House, he's been the guy in this playoff stretch, and he ran for about 1,000 yards just in his playoffs. He had 12 touchdowns in these playoffs, and 4-game period. It's unbelievable what he's had a lot of success against y'all. I believe against Northwood. He went off against St. Aug. He went off, and in the semifinal game against Karen Crow, he had 280 yards and 5 touchdowns. So he's been the dude for Brother Martin right now. But do you think you can see that type of success when they're playing against JT Curtis and John Curtis? And this is actually a rematch. They're playing the Catholic League, play against each other. And John Curtis beat them the first time. They beat them 23-14. Do you think it goes John Curtis' way a second time around, or do you think Brother Martin gets that state title?
Man, I think John Curtis. I want to see Brother Martin, and I want to lean toward him just because of all the things that you just said. When players get hot, and when my guy, he's getting hot like he is, and like you say, I seen him. He ran for, plenty of big runs versus us, and a whole bunch of yards, and he's been showing that week in and week out through these playoffs. But I think John Curtis gonna be able to be stout in there on the run. They know him, they are familiar with him, and like I say, John Curtis then just went through a tougher side over there, and I think they're gonna be ready to go. So I'm leaning with John Curtis. I'm going with John Curtis.
I agree with you, Marcus.
JT Curtis.
I can't go against the GOAT. And when you, like I said earlier, when you slay the giant, you are the giant. And right now that they are. I mean, they are the favorite. When you go through Catholic High, and you like a lot of people are saying Catholic High, you played against Catholic High. Everybody's saying that they may be the best team in the entire state. And when you go and beat that team, I mean, does that make you the favorite? And I really think that JT Curtis and John Curtis, Brother Martin's had a great run. I mean, y'all played against Brother Martin, and they've been really good under Coach Bonice, and the Crusaders been really good this year. But I'm gonna go with old JT to get it done. So it should be a really good football game. So Marcus, out of these 8 games, and we talked a lot about the LHSAA, coming back and changing the format a little bit. But what do you think overall? We have some really good matchups from ever since they decided to make the divisions different and the districts different. And what do you have to say about all these matchups and what kind of weekend we should be getting in the Dome?
Man, I think that and we said it since day one, since the playoffs started, that we thought that the new playoff system is working better at this point because we're getting better matchups even from the beginning of the playoffs. You don't have to wait till a 3rd round or 4th round or a championship game like we're going to see this weekend. We've had these big games all playoff long, and not only in one division or 2 divisions, it's been pretty much in all the divisions. It's been big time games matched up. So however they went about making these divisions happen and whatever science they put behind it, I just want to say that. And I don't know, it might be a year-to-year thing, but I know in this year it definitely worked. It definitely in my mind has shown some of the best game, has been able to expose and highlight a lot of our best athletes that we have here in Louisiana. I think they did a great job with it. And I think this weekend going to be action-packed again. Everybody back under one roof in the Superdome. I think it's going to be electric in there, and we're going to see a lot of great talent. and we're gonna have a lot of people down there having a great time fellowshipping. We're gonna see a lot of tradition because a lot of these teams used to being in the dome, so we're gonna see a lot of tradition down there, a lot of fans, family, and football. And there's no better feeling to have it, like you say, in New Orleans, in our city, in the dome. It's gonna be action packed.
Yeah, everybody under one roof. It's going to be a great time. It's going to be great to catch up with a lot of the coaches too that are there. A lot of the media people. I get a chance to catch up with a lot of those guys because they're all pretty much all in one roof. So it's going to be a really good weekend. Marcus, it's been really fun doing this show with you and the other shows as well, the Chase with Jace as well. And we will have one more show of the Road to the Dome because we started, we have to finish it. So
Gotta finish.
so next week we'll talk about all the games. We'll recap the games and all the performances and what teams are going to hoist a state championship trophy in the end. So we'll do one more show of the Road to the Dome, and that will be up separately just throughout the rest of the week on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So we'll post like segments, of the games that'll be played that day, and then we'll cover all the high school football games. We'll do an article on all of the state championship games. So we'll get a lot of content this weekend of the state championship games. And then wrapping this whole thing up, it was a great conversation I had with you and Ricky yesterday, and get a chance to really get to know Ricky as well, and not just the LSU quarterback commit, but it shows you that despite all the success, what I've been most impressed with was how he's been able to handle everything. Because I guarantee you, what at my age, if I was like a 5-star or 4-star quarterback, I probably wouldn't handle that as humbly as he's had. But it's been a great conversation with the both of y'all, and it was a great insight to the relationship that both of y'all have.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you coming to do it. I didn't know that's how we were going to do it, but you say you had something special, and man, that was definitely special. Being able to have that with him now that he's moving on. Going to college, and I've been with him for the last 5 years. I had security at the quarterback position, and then just being able to pour into him and be able to give him everything that I think that he needs and everything that he should have to be ready to go and compete, and not only compete on the football field, but compete in the classroom up there, compete for just going in and just being a successful person.
Well, Marcus, we're going to see how right or how wrong we are at the end of this when we talk about next week. I know we had some technical difficulties during this whole thing, but Marcus, I appreciate you bearing with me. And it's been fun talking to you about all these games. And we'll regroup next week, and we'll talk about how smart or stupid we are after tonight.
Oh man, well, we'll see it next week though, man. I bet. But I mean, it's obviously. I mean, we still betting on this thing because even though I know you said the numbers and we read off everything and we seen them, we did this matchup to make games, and it's any given Thursday or any given Friday or any given Saturday, anybody can come there and get hot and get ready to go. But if science holds up, and we're gonna see where we stand there right now.
Oh yeah, we'll see. After all, they don't play the games on paper, so
Not,
on
not
the
at all.
football field. So we'll see. We'll see how motivated some of these teams are. It's like, oh, we're going to prove both of y'all wrong. We'll see. We'll see.
I like it, man. Motivation.
Motivation. So we'll see what happens. Marcus, always a pleasure, and we'll kick it back next week when we go on the Road to the Dome.
All right, Big J.
All right.